Wagwan and what's up, it's Josh, welcome back. Today is my final thoughts video on Supergirl. So Supergirl season final aired 2 weeks ago now, I think it was. Basically my reaction will be up probably about 5-10 minutes before this goes up. But yeah, I've had some time to process it. I've basically just finished editing it, so I've rewatched it all again as well. And I just wanted to go over sort of my final views on how the series ended. And yeah, basically that's all I'm going to do. I don't know what else and there. So my first kind of thought is I'm going to kind of start from the end because that's the most fresh. Was the way it ended with Kara coming out as Supergirl. Now, I think this is a great thing for the character, but on the other hand, I don't think it's a great way for the show to end. I felt like this ending would have suited Arrow so much better, because I think back to season 6 of Arrow, when Oliver came out as the Hood in the last episode of his deal with Samantha. Watson, was it? Wilson? Whatever her last name was. When he comes out and gives his speech about being the Green Arrow, and I just remember how powerful that moment was. And I felt like if not that episode, that's how the show had ended, but if we had got to season 8 and no one had still known Oliver was the Green Arrow, and that was that final speech, that would have been a great ending for the show, whereas Oliver obviously died. That's how the show ended instead. I just felt that the ending they've given the endings have almost been wrong for each character. If like Supergirl had died and Oliver had come out as the Green Arrow, I felt like they would have been way more suited for each of those characters and their missions. But obviously, I'm not mad about the way it's ended. I just think it's extremely open for it to be ended. Like, you know, in my mind, you could end Arrow with Oliver Queen being the Green Arrow, with coming out as being the Green Arrow, and him being around still doesn't matter as much, because that's all. I think that's the vision Oliver always had. He would do that until he died. Whereas Supergirl being around, you know, there's always, with her abilities, for me is she can always be around. Like, she can always fly over Central City, or over Gotham City. She could team up with Batwoman. She could team up with Clark. You know, it just seems like with her not being dead, it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't appear elsewhere. So for me, that's kind of my issue with it. But I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed having Cat Grant back to talk about that, and I'm not mad about it. I just think it would have been better suited for Arrow. Other things, Cat Grant's return. Obviously, you would have seen in the reaction video. I was super excited. I think they nailed it. I think it was a great sort of full circle storytelling point of view, like having her at the start and then being there at the end. I think was incredibly sweet, and because Cat was such a massive part of Kara and Supergirl, to have her, the last thing we see on screen is Cat Grant announcing Kara is Supergirl, was massive. What else is there? That's all I really have to say on that point. So I haven't scripted this. I probably should have written a script, some sort of script or bullet points beforehand, but I didn't. I just wanted to be sort of raw of what I felt. For Wedding, I felt took up so much of the episode, like so much of it, and not that it was a bad thing, but as I'll get onto next, the ending of the final battle was not what it should have been and not what I wanted it to be. So that's where this ties into. I felt like a good 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes was spent on the wedding, and although it was a big thing that's been leading up for Alex throughout the last couple seasons, it just felt too long and too overstretched. I know we got a lot of stuff, not just the wedding, but a lot of stuff in that point. We got Brainy's return, we got Cara and Kat's phone conversation, Lena's been asked to be godmother, we got moments between James and Kelly, Jean and Wyn, James and Cara. We got loads of stuff in this period. It just felt like it could have done being an hour episode, so we could have had that alongside a better final battle. I'm not mad for any of these things were included. I felt like they were all big points that needed to be talked about, but at the same time, I felt it took away from the final parts of the episode. Going into the final battle, however, the first half of it was sick. So if we go to sort of episode 19, where we've got the battle on the bridge and then the battle sort of in a sort of stream bit where Lillian gets shot, and that was a cool first part of the battle. I'm going to consider that like the first half of the battle as well. I thought that was incredible for choreography. The sort of inclusiveness of everyone was amazing. And then this I would put into part of as well of the first half of the final battle with Red Tornado, Metallo and Overgirl and the Kryptonian Slaughter Dragon and stuff like that. I thought that was a sick thing, although there was some pretty shitty dialogue, especially from Alex. But the way it was edited, it was choreographed, and the sort of introductions to all the people that came back was very sick. So that I enjoyed. But when all the old villains disappear and it gets down to just Lex and Nixley, this is where my disappointment, I say it in the reaction, it was immeasurable. Because they opened the Phantom Zone portal, we've got a massive lineup there. We've got Supergirl, we've got Jean, we've got Mon-El, we got Wyn, we got Alex, we got both Guardians, we got Lena, Kara's mum, Brainy, Dreamer, Andrea. We've got Mitch all in this lineup, as well as the civilians. And Nixie and Lex literally just get picked up and dragged into the Phantom Zone. And it's like, it could have been so much more. And, I felt like this could have been a point Nixie's fifth dimensional cuff got taken off her. Because, I know that was put on her to make it a much more even battle throughout the last sort of 8 episodes. But it was such a massive dampener on the show. And the way they couldn't have found a way to write round her power and the combined power of the Super Friends was really annoying to me throughout the entire sort of second half of the season, second half of the season, because she is a fifth dimensional imp. She has this power, and between her, Lex, Mitch, and the totem, she couldn't get this cuff off her, and it was just so there was a little bit more of a balance between the Super Friends and Nixley. And that's really kind of annoyed me. But yeah, that was my biggest grovel of the episodes. Really, was the final battle, as well as William's funeral. What the fuck was that? It wasn't even a 5-minute scene, and that's including sort of the talking about the DEO reopening and all of the community centre stuff, like the Lena Luthor Foundation. The Dreamers LGBTQ sort of community centre, the DEO, the William Day award, all of that included with the goodbyes and the actual funeral itself was less than 5 minutes, I reckon, and it was just a massive disappointment because this is sort of the biggest loss the Super Friends have had to deal with, other than sort of Jeremiah in season 3, but no one really died in this show, and they killed William and that was it. There was no sort of big goodbye, no speech, no nothing, no sort of emotion shown other than kind of the scene where they stood there. So that was really disappointing. The Lena Luthor and Lillian Luthor scene, like I said, I'm feeling a bit better about it now, looking back on it. But I did feel like it wasn't needed, but I do think it was nice it was included. What else? Kara's speeches, I actually think, listening back to them, I think they were all fairly decent. In fact, I'd say they're all good. Obviously, the one I praised the most was the one she gave to Alex, and I do think that's the best one. But I don't actually think there was a bad speech in these last 2 episodes that I've really felt was... I mean, in the moment, I do give a bit of a funny reaction to it, but looking back, it isn't as bad of a speech as I make it out to be. The Lex and Nixley sort of betrayal and sort of no longer working together felt really stupid in a way. Like, for how much Lex showed he loved her over the last, however met, 4 episodes, to then betray her, fight her throughout the city, just didn't make sense to me. And although she killed Lillian, even before that it didn't make sense, because that's when they were talking about giving her the other half of the All-Stone. So yeah, that didn't really make sense to me either. But yeah, I think that's roughly it on how I feel. I think it was a solid series final. I will miss the show immensely, editing it and everything. I kind of got a bit emotional, like realising this was the last one I'd have to do. I'd definitely be up for a Supergirl return, maybe for like a season run, maybe 15, 20 episodes, maybe even 30. It could even do like an 8-10 episode run. Just maybe like 3-4 years down the line, just to show how everyone's doing, give us a bit of a story. I think that'd be cool. But obviously that's up to them, and I'm all down for it. Obviously we've got Alex showing up in the Armageddon crossover, which I still haven't watched. That's like the next thing I'm going to do. But yeah, you know, it was a good final episode. There was a few, like I said, like I've just mentioned, there was a few sort of points that I thought ruined it. Not ruined it, but took it down a couple points. But overall, I'd give it probably a good 7 out of 10, which is a good ranking, in my opinion. Like 7 out of 10. If someone said, oh, that's a good 7 out of 10, I'd watch it. So, yeah, and I think over the last couple seasons, well, because I really enjoyed seasons 4 and 5 of 3 and 4. I enjoyed one of the seasons. I didn't really enjoy 5 as much, because it didn't make much sense to me. But I enjoyed 4. Obviously 1 and 1 was the best season. But I felt like season 6 kind of took a dip. It spent too much time on the totems. It split so much over both halves of it. So you got the first half dealing with Supergirl in the Phantom Zone, and the second half dealing with sort of the stopping Nixley, who then turn out to be Lex as well. It just varied a lot. So yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely down for Supergirl to turn up in Superman and Lois or Batwoman, because I feel like that stuff like that just needs to be done, because obviously Supergirl was on good terms with Ruby Rose's Kate Kane, and now it's not Kate Kane who's Batwoman, so it'll be really interesting for a piece of dialogue there. So yeah, I'd definitely be down for that. I'd definitely be down for some of the team to join the Legends as well, like Alex or Guardian, or both of them. I feel like that'd be a stretch though, because they do have a child to raise now. But Dreamer and Brainy, I think more for Dreamer and Brainy, I want more of a spin-off show, because you can actually do that now with Brainy's returning back, which was a massive positive point in the episode. Maybe John. Jean would be a great choice to put into the Legends. But yeah, I definitely think some of his characters can return, and I'm definitely up for it. But thanks guys for listening to me rant. This was my final thoughts on Supergirl series final. Let me know what you think in the comments below of the episode. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe. I do all sort of the Arrowverse content on here. Other superhero content like Titans. I'm looking into starting Stargirl and Doom Patrol. I'm looking into starting loads. So, you know, if that's what you're into, if you're into watching TV, tune in. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.